Hi everyone, this is Laura with your astrology podcast of the moment. What's going on? What can you expect? And how can you best use this energy? And if you're new to me, I'm a spiritual life coach, teacher, and healer. I've created over 40 courses that help you with self-healing, with creating magic in your life. And I'm also an ex-journalist, and I love giving you balanced perspectives. One of the ways I love doing that is by looking at the astrology. Now, there's a lot going on in the world at this moment in time, especially around health, around coronavirus, and this is impacting the whole of the world. To give you information on that and to also highlight like what is going on, how can you best deal with this, I tuned into the energy for you, and I'd love to explain to you the astrology of this. I'm also going to give you a reframe, as in, okay, so what can you do when you're going to be spending a lot of time at home? Because that is what is in the cards for most of us. Spending a lot of time at home, and again, how can you benefit from that? So when this started to happen, I have to tell you a little bit more about the sky energy first. We just had Mercury retrograde happen. You have had access, or some of you had access in a free course I gave in the Facebook group Into the Moon House on Mercury retrogrades. And each Mercury retrograde is different. This one had something different going on in a sense that it had Neptune in the mix. So I'm going to be talking about the planets, but don't worry, I'll immediately explain what it actually means. So Neptune is very otherworldly. Neptune is the things that we can't quite see, we can't grasp on a very high level. It's all about the spiritual, it's all about the other realms, it's about magic. But on a lower level, this also rules like, unseen threats in a sense. Like what is unseen, what is like living in moisty environments, because Neptune relates to has a certain wetness around it. And then Pisces is also, it's very otherworldly. The signs they relate to, or the planet and this sign relate to one and another. That's a definite link that I see in what's happening right now. The main thing, though, is that Uranus is in Taurus. This started happening last year already, and it's going to stay in Taurus for 7 years. Now, it's very helpful to understand that Taurus relates to the home, to your house, and not only to the physical house, because Taurus definitely rules all our material possessions, the buildings, the houses, where's the money coming from, the banks. All of that is very Taurus related. And one of the things that you may have noticed on an internal level is the call to come home, the call to come home to yourself. I've been talking about this quite a lot. I have a mystery course that I only host once a year, which is Inside Delphi, which helps you uncover everything that you are actually about and you may have forgotten. So it's very much like the soul is your home, your core self is your home. What do you need to feel at home with yourself? Because the home is about comfort. It's about your comfort levels. What feels right to you? What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel secure? All of those things relate to the sign of Taurus as well. And then we had something else going on in the sky as well, which is the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that many people have talked about. I actually like to look at it as a current stellium going through Capricorn, because we've got Mars there, we've got Jupiter there, we still have Saturn there, and we have Pluto there. And this has been about the leadership and the personal leadership that you're taking in regards to your own life, but also like what are the world leaders doing? Who do we trust to take the decisions, the politics? If you're interested in this, I've done 3 podcasts on this upcoming year. I'll link them wherever you're listening this podcast, and because they will prepare you or share with you how to, to work with the current sky energy. And most people always let me know, like, oh my God, are you in my head when I reach these energies? So why is this Capricorn thing important? Capricorn also rules business. So we've got a lot going on in our earth signs. So you can see that as Mother Earth, but you can see it as our foundations. Our foundations are being called for a change because Uranus going through Taurus. Uranus wants to shake things up. Uranus is saying, "Hey, dudes, something is needs to change. Something is not working, and we need to take action." Now, not everyone loves change. Let's be fair. A lot of people are like, "No, we want to keep things the same. We want to stay comfortable." Better the devil you know. It's also very Taurus, by the way. They're very slow to actually adapt to change. All the things that you're seeing in regards to climate change, the rebellion coming up. Uranus is a rebel planet. Taurus relates to Earth. Can you see that? Like rebelling, the rebellion around Earth and how Earth has been treated, how we've been using the resources around like what is sustainable, yes or no. And Uranus always calls for change. It wants to change. And it wants the change for the better. It's progressive. However, if we are not responding to Uranus' call, then what will happen is that Uranus will force change externally. Now you can see this in the virus because it's been spreading very fast. It's been spreading worldwide. And we can already see what the impact actually is on the planet. So, yes, for humans, this may not, it may be a very scary time. There's a lot of panic going on. But there's going to come a lot of good things out of this. So I want to highlight that for sure to you as well. The pollution, because of China's lockdown, because China was first, of course, in this, has gone down incredibly. All the airplanes not flying now, even though there's still quite a lot of empty planes going, it's going to bring the pollution down. Us not being able to use cars because of the lockdown, or only not too much, it's going to give the Earth a break. So you could see it as the Earth is taking her break at this moment. At the same time, we see all kinds of levels of people dealing with this and wanting to face up to these circumstances, yes or no. In my own country, the Netherlands, the response has been quite slow, I must say. While in Spain, they've now responded to go on lockdown. France has gone on lockdown at the moment of recording this, which is wise. Now, but we can see in society like different layers and responses that people are having to how to deal with this virus, and including, let's start with the resources again. Obviously, the supermarkets are there's plenty of food, but of course, what happens when you are fearful is That the survival brain kicks in, and it's very logical. And as a society, I think this is a perfect opportunity to start explaining more about what emotions are and what they're trying to tell us. Because in this case, fear wants to help us make wise decisions. That is what's actually going on. And especially spiritual circles often bypass the very logical messaging that fear have, and that our emotions have. I talk about emotions a lot. I share about emotions a lot because they are key to your personal well-being. And the more we actually understand the meaning and the more we know the techniques to take the sting out of situations, the easier and more fulfilling your life is going to be, the nicer you're going to be to other fellow humans as well, the more examples you're going to set. This still ties into the past 2 years of astrology as well, which has been about bringing in more understanding about emotions. It's not as high level present in this event. However, Aquarius is going to come into the mix as well. Aquarius is the sign of humanity. This is the age of Aquarius. The 18th of March is a very important day because Saturn is going to move in the sign of Aquarius. So yes, this can definitely relate to more restrictions or more lockdowns in regards to air travel, because Aquarius is ruled by, Aquarius relates to air travel. Saturn is restrictions, so more rules, more restrictions. But it's also about humanity, about seeing other people for who they are, for other people, knowing they have value and their presence is important. And I think those are very, very big lessons coming our way. And this is also what I see in what the countries are doing at this moment in time, because you as another citizen, you are responsible in this case for the precautions you're willing to take for yourself, for your own health and well-being. But you must also realize that this coronavirus is very contagious. One of the things people and the medical experts are saying is the social distancing. People being on lockdown and having to stay at home is important. So they won't spread the disease. They won't cause extra pressure on the health system, on the doctors and nurses doing the tasks, on infecting other people and the elderly. And what I've seen at where I'm currently at, so my government in the Netherlands is not taking precautions that other countries are, I must sadly say. They probably will later on, but they're definitely on the late side. And what you can see with that, if you compare this to Italy, for example, is that the people there are very considerate about not infecting other people. They understand the seriousness of the situation. While here, there's still the idea of, well, maybe it doesn't affect me. I'll just hang out with my friends in groups, in the pub, going out. But you'll see that later on anyway. So this is going to happen anyway. So that, it's going to be about making sure that you take precautions and take the responsibility for the well-being for others as well, and seeing how you are responsible for that. So that's one of the things. It can assist in a new level of caring for other people, of taking responsibility, of seeing that we are actually a community and we're not just individuals. Now, this is also the message that I received, because I do tune into, if you're not familiar with that, I do tune into different energies. I obviously connect to the sky and the energy of the sky and the cosmos and the moon, and most people know that. I also have channeled Divine Masculine Collective. I have channeled the Pleiades. I have channeled or I've tuned in, especially the earth energy I'm very connected to, and basically communicating with what's going on in earth. And one of the messages I received from the star beings was in regards to unity. They said that it's essentially about unity, and I can see that coming together if I look in the astrology, because we should act more like a society again, in a sense, because this type of disruption is obviously it's going to impact, it's already impacting, it's impacting the financial, it's impacting how we live our life, it's impacting travel, it's impacting business, it's in fact impacting the schools, it's impacting how we relate to family. So yeah. But the overall thing to keep in mind is the connectedness, that we're in it together, and the structures that were. This is why actually this completely came down to the Mercury retrograde ending as well. Like certain structures in society are no longer working, and we need to become aware of that. And I feel that's what happened here. We can see how the leaders are responding or not responding to this. We're also being asked again to take responsibility. Are you being responsible in regards to other humans, or are you just in it for yourself? Because I'm sorry, that's no longer going to. Well, it's probably working, but it's not. But it's not, right? And we've been continuously be reminded of that. You can also see how impermanent certain things are on planet Earth. Not everything is, so everything that looks really reliable suddenly falls apart, right? That is very interesting. That means you have to shift your mindset against like what is going on. And the good news is that it opens a door to reinventing certain things, to doing things differently. And I talked more about coming home to yourself, and now you're literally being asked to stay in your home, and to reinvent certain values. So that comes with a lot of opportunity. I also want to see. So I want to say. Radical adjustment of altering the structures of everyday patterns, as in, we're having to radically change what we're doing on a day-to-day level. This may fit in with sustainability long term. This may relate to the climate and climate change. Or basically to learn just to connect again with the earth and what we're taking from the earth. It has to do with how we show up for other people, how responsible we are willing to be in regards to others. It does also show like how selfish we are or not are. With a side note here, obviously you have to take care of yourself first. That is very wise, but it also, if we even look back at the 80s, I'm not that old, but if you look back at the 80s, it was much more about we as a society. So where does this all lead? So how can we tie all of this up to, to what you may expect, what is going on, what are you being asked to do? Of course, Uranus is very much about going back to yourself. Who are you when a lot of the strategy and structure that you're used to is falling away? What is it that is really important? Are you comfortable spending time with yourself? Because that's a big one for many people. How comfortable are you with your own company? How well do you know yourself? What is it that you need? And of course, it is a brilliant opportunity to start creating what it is that you want to create. What do you want to bring into the world? Did you have an artwork laying about? Did you want to pick up a certain type of art? Did you want to write and finish that book? Did you think about starting a business in regards to your passion? These are all areas you can explore now, and the more it's going to come from your inner alignment, the more satisfaction you'll find there, because security always comes from the inside. That's the only security or certainty that we have. And that is why it's so important to know yourself on every level. All right, this was the podcast around the coronavirus, Uranus in Taurus. I've highlighted a lot. Obviously, a lot of these events especially come from the Pluto or Saturn conjunction that you've heard a lot about, but it's affecting Uranus in Taurus immediately. So this is why it's playing out the way it is. I want to invite you into the group, into the Moon House. We are doing some special healings there with some of my healer friends, and we're going to work with anxiety, empath, stress, angelic healing, everything basically to get you back and connected with yourself. And we're going to remove some of the emotions you have picked up that are not yours. Hoping to see you there. Any questions, please answer me, tag me at Into the Moon House. I am always looking to hear from you. If you love my astrology information, then please know that I offer this, of course, in a 1-1 session. And there's also sessions in which I combine healing with information, so you can just immediately allow the shift to happen. All right, everyone, stay safe and be well. See you all soon.